Welcome back to all the students of class 7. This is Kamlesh Misra from Lakshmi Prasad Memorial Public School, Gola Bazar, Gorakhpur. Students, today we will start history, which is the second part of social study. Chapter first, I am going to proceed to all of you. The title of the chapter is When, Where and How. Let's start the chapter 1 from history. Dear students, Indian history is generally divided into the ancient, medieval and modern periods on the basis of change in social, political and economic organizations and in ideas and beliefs. So on the basis of ideas, beliefs, social, political and economic change, Indian history is divided into three parts: ancient Indian history, medieval Indian history and modern Indian history. Let's study about it in detail. Each of these periods has certain distinctive features determined by the various development recorded in a different walks of life during that period. The actual durations of the period, which is historically regarded as a medieval, is not the same everywhere. While the medieval period in Europe lasted between 600 and 1400 CE century, the medieval period in India extended from 700 to 1700 CE, which is exactly 1,000 years. It is further subdivided into the early medieval period from 700 to 1200 CE and the late medieval period from 1200 to 1700 CE respectively. So this is the divisions of the Indian history on the basis of social, political and economic changes that take place with the period of time and in the ideas and beliefs of the peoples. Indian history is divided into three parts: ancient, medieval and modern history. Medieval period, let's study about the medieval period. Major historical trends. What were the major historical trends which take place in the medieval period of Indian history? Before we start discussing the various events and developments that took place during the medieval period of Indian history, let us try to develop an insight into the political, social and economic and cultural changes that characterized economic and that characterize this period. The initial phase of the period under study was marked by the emergence of regional kingdom throughout the country. A powerful group of peoples rose to prominence during this period, primarily as warriors and kings in the northern and central India. These people came to be called the Rajputs. The Rajputs claimed their descent from either the solar family, Suryavansa, or lunar family, came to known as Chandravansa. So the medieval period begins with the emergence of the Rajputa. The Rajput claims their descent from either the solar family Suryavansa or lunar family Chandravansa. However, there were four clans which claimed that they had not descended from either of these two families but had originated directly from a sacrificial fire conducted by sage Vasishta on the peak of the present day Mount. Present day Mount Abu. They claimed descent from Agnikula. They were the descent from Agnikula. These included the Pratyars, the Chauhans, the Solankis, and the Parmars. These four clans played an important role in the history of this period. Establishment of Delhi Sultanate following the arrival of the Mughal empires were the two most important political events of the period. Feudalism or the royal practices of granting land to nobles in a lieu tributes and military help was a significant political trend of the period. The important social trends of the medieval age included the proliferations of new caste, the rise of tribal groups with their own distinctive identities and customs, and sharp distinctions between rural and urban areas. The flourishing of trade and the introductions of more systematic assessment of land revenue were the significant economic trends of the medieval period. In the spiritual sphere, this period marked the emergence of new form of Hinduism and Islam, which were more assimilative in nature. Religious reforms in the form of Bhakti and Sufi movements triggered some of the major developments of the period. In the sphere of architecture, the distinctive style and technology arose, thereby adding to the grandeur and magnificence of medieval India. In all, widespread cultural diversity was the hallmark of this period, which went on to enrich India's culture and history. Key changes over the thousands of years during the medieval period. Here students, historians use different types of sources. To learn about the past depending on the period of their study and the nature of their investigations. Sources such as coin, inscriptions, painting, architectural remains, and textual records serve as a link to the past. Medieval Indian history has left behind a rich legacy of archaeological and literary sources which help as a reconstruct the history of the period. So these are the sources through which we can have a lot of information or we can know about the history of medieval periods of India. Okay, so let's study about it in detail. The first one is the archaeological sources. Archaeological sources is the study of archaeology is the study of history through the material remains of human life. Archaeological sources may include monuments, painting, sculpture, inscriptions, and coins. These are the archaeological sources through which we know more about the history of medieval period of India. Monuments and building. One and foremost important source of archaeology. Monuments and building. Historical monuments and buildings such as palaces, temples, forts, mosques, tombs, clock tower, etc. help to reconstructs the past in many ways. The beginning with these buildings reveal the or to begin with these buildings reveal the architectural styles and cultural influence of the period. The famous monuments of the medieval period include the Humayun's tomb, Qutub Minar, mosques such as Quwat-ul-Islam and Jama Masjid, Red Fort in Delhi and Agra, Taj Mahal, Hoysala temples, etc. They provide invaluable information regarding the architectural skills of workers, materials used to construct these monuments, and the mode of transportations in use, besides the cultural and religious beliefs prevalent during the period under study. Second one is the inscriptions, one of the most important source of archaeology. Inscriptions are writing engraved on solid surface, including rock, metals, pillars, and stone tablets and other structures, written in various languages and script. These inscriptions record royal proclamations, religious instructions, and gifts to temples, peoples, or village. Many of these available even today are attributed to the Rajputs and Chola rulers. Besides, there are several inscriptions on the walls of Taj Mahal, the Red Fort, and other palace walls. All these inscriptions usually tells us about the social and economic conditions of the peoples, and sometimes even provide dynastic list of the kings or their genealogies. Coins. Let's study what role coins play to give us the knowledge of the past. Coins gives us invaluable information about the quality and economy of the period. The writings on the coins generally convey the names, date of issue, title, and portraits of kings, and occasionally even their dynasty. Emblem coins throw light on art, religion, economic conditions, trade, etc. The compositions of the metals or alloy used in the coins tells us about the scientific advancement attained during the corresponding period. Moreover, the distant places where the coins are excavated give an idea about the extent of the empire. The sultans of Delhi and Mughal emperors, the Cholas, and other regional rulers issued many coins. Painting and sculpture. Painting and sculpture also give important information about the medieval Indian history. The painting reflected themes of religions, forest life, court, scenes, mythological stories, lifestyle of people, and food habits of the time. Different style of miniatures paintings also evolved during this period. The bronze sculpture of the Nataraja, the dancing Shiva, is representative of the sculpture produced during the period. The sculptures were made of bronze, wood, or stone and depicted figures of gods and goddesses, queens, and kings. Literary sources. Much of our understanding of the medieval period of Indian history comes from a plethora of written sources. These include both religious and non-religious sources. Available in the form of biographies and autobiographies, court chronicles at a times called namas in Persians and historical accounts by pilgrims, traders and royal ambassadors. The literary sources usually categorized into indigenous and foreign writings covering subsets such as religions, economics, policies, culture, etc. A variety of languages such as Persian, Sanskrit, Arabic, Urdu and many other regional languages were used to produce these bulk of writings. It is interesting to note that the papers was still not in use in the Indian subcontinent during the early medieval period. Palm leaves, bark of birds, trees and animal skins were used as a material for writing. It was only in the late medieval period that paper became the main writings materials. Literary sources of medieval history can be divided into following categories. Okay, the next more we will study in the next part of this video. That is sufficient today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day to all of you. Continue your study. Take care on your health in this pandemic situation.